What's going on, people? So, first off, any fans of the Lithium station on Sirius XM? I've been listening to that a lot. It's got a lot of good stuff in there. Usually, I'm a big fan of like the pop rock station. I think it's number 6, but this one's doing all right lately. So there is that. Whatever. Got some shoes to talk about. I'm gonna see if I can make sure this is muted. Okay, cool. See if I can do this without dragging it out too long because in a few minutes here, Mondo, I buy a lot of stuff from them. They're going to be talking about their SDCC things. And I kind of want to pay more attention to that, but I also want this out of the way because I got some editing to do, right? So there you go. Now you're all caught up. Let's see what's in these things, huh? First off, a little lesson from A6. Apparently, if you just order like a single pair of shoes, they just ship them in these bags. I'm not a fan of that. So I'm gonna have to remember to order like multiple things every time now, because that's how the last boxes work. Maybe you saw that, right? The last time I sat down and did an unboxing, which was also all from Asics. Oh boy. So set this guy right there. I'm gonna need him again soon. It's a lot of noise. Does it come up as a lot of noise when you're watching these things? It seems like it over here. So there we go. Asics box. There's that. Right? Gel-Nimbus 9. Yeah. Not really a big fan of the Nimbus. I've said that before, but sometimes you got to make those exceptions, right? So that's where we are today. There's that one. And now I'll take out this one. A little toasty. Okay. Make sure things look fine. What color do they call it? Things like shade, nightshade, and orchid. All right, cool. So, yeah, check that out, right? It's kind of a Joker sort of colorway. If you look at it, got a little purple and green and whatnot. But first, got to look these things over, make sure they look like they're okay, right? Yeah, everything seems fine. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Right, so, like I was just kind of saying, I don't know if you heard it. This right here, Asics Gel Nimbus 9 in dark orchid, something like that. Either way, or nightshade and orchid. But either way, here's the thing, right? I saw these. Oh, look, it's like a Joker style color. And I was like, I'm getting that. And now here we are. So there's how this came to be, straight from Asics, right? Now the thing that's weird about this is, well, because there's the bottom in case you want to see that. It's not a lot to talk about, so I was going to skip over it. There's a lot of plasticky stuff going on up here, almost like that patent leather type stuff you see on like certain other shoes, like everywhere, like on here, right? This little scaly stuff, like all up on the side to the back, right? Obviously not on the inside, which is good. But yeah, man, that's a weird touch to me. I don't I don't care one way or the other for it, at least not right now. Once I put it on, and if it affects breathability, we might have an issue. But for now, I'm just looking at it, taking it in, thinking, I don't know. I don't know. But I also don't know what these materials were normally like on a Nimbus 9 because I've never worn one, right? Speaking of having never worn one, I'm hoping that this fits true to size. So I'm going to slip this thing on real quick and share those thoughts. If I can get these laces undone just a little bit. There we go. There's that. Let's see what we got going on here. Because normally all their stuff seems to fit about right as far as like the true to size things go. And this one, I will say the same thing. Yeah. So putting this thing on, you don't have like the most room all around, but given that there's a lot of mesh stuff in the upper, it's actually feeling pretty decent, right? So if you're like one of those bigger footed people, you might want to think twice about that. But if you've worn a Kayano 14, these feel very similar to that. They're also from a similar era, right? So, if you do the math, because the Nimbuses and the Kayanos are about 5 apart, right? 26, 30. Yeah, they're 5 apart. This is a 9. I'm talking about 14s. So, yeah, the story checks out, right? So if you have one of those, expect a similar fit, right? Comfort wise, can't really call it right now, but I'm sure they're fine. I mean, I don't think they do have the ortholite insoles, so there is that. Usually makes for a good time if you're going to be walking around in these things. But I'll do a full on review and whatnot, perhaps, possibly tomorrow, actually. Might slip these things on, do that whole thing, right? Because I need to get some of the stuff done relatively soon. But we'll see what happens with that. So let's sit that back in there, come back to it in a little bit. And so this is the other box, also again from Asics, right? This time I ordered 2 shoes. What's crazy is like I ordered these things like a day apart. Maybe it might have actually been the same day. I think one was just like late at night, like after a concert or something. I was just like buying stuff online, and then the next one was like later in that evening. So like almost 20 hours later. I don't know. Life is weird, man. You just do stuff and then the boxes show up, right? Anybody ever been there? Can you relate to that? I can. So let's see. Let's see if I can get this box out. We'll do the top one first because that's the thing that makes sense. So, side of the box for you, gel-kinsei Max. Guess that's what we're doing first, which is cool because I'm actually looking forward to seeing what these things are all about. So it's a running shoe, right? I'm a big fan of Asics running shoes, so I'm trying out some different ones. These Nimbus 9s technically were a running shoe when they were originally made and stuff, but that was years ago, man. Like, technology is so much better. Even I was just running a little while ago in a Cumulus like 23 or something like that. Not my favorite thing to do, but just enough to get the heart rate up. Wait, what color did this say? This is Thunder Blue and Electric Lime. That sounds kind of fancy now, doesn't it? So again, doing the same thing, looking over them, making sure nothing's out of place and whatnot. Yeah. So kind of has like the standard look that you've seen on a lot of the other earlier gel type shoes, running shoes or whatever, especially if you're thinking the Kayanos, because these price point wise are right on level with those. Speaking of which, while I'm thinking about it, 160 for these from Asics, right? 180 or 185 for these, right? Pretty sure. So they have kind of a similar build in a way to some older Asics shoes. That's a little too far, otherwise I'd show you one. But they've got this sort of split thing going on back here, and you can't quite see it, but there is one of those plates in here, right? Kind of like the Adazero Pro, if you remember that video. Maybe you probably didn't even see it. I don't think anybody watched that review. But whatever. Down across the bottom, that's what it's looking like down there. It reminds me a lot of something that had an orange on the bottom. I don't know. It might have been one of my trail runners or something, like one of my Asics trail shoes. Either way, you got the same standard upper, right? All knitted and whatnot, unlike the last thing, which was a whole lot of plastic. Got the Asics logo going on there. Back end heel tab, a little bit of 3M. Kinsei Max. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's not even focusing, so whatever. And then looking down on there, Asics on the inside. But these things should be pretty nice, right? I've heard people have their own personal opinions about the whole shoes with like the little carbon plates in there, right? It's supposed to kind of help keep you like going as far as like running motions go, right? So I get that, but some people just don't like it. And there is a very stretchy tongue on here. It looks very thin, breathable, and all that good stuff, right? It says Kinsei at the top there if it focuses. But like I just did on the last one, got to slip these things on once I untie them, because out of the box, sometimes these things are quite tight. But I got to slip this thing on, make sure this 9.5 is going to work out. I mean, it looks like it should. This looks like the normal dimensions of the shoes that I wear. So yeah, and this one's working out just fine. So that's cool. I'm going to tie these things up just a wee bit and see how that whole thing plays out. Then I'll hold up this other one, talk about some stuff for a second. So here we go. This right here, it's fitting almost exactly like those Kayano 29s over there. Kind of hugs in a little bit more than some of the newer shoes that have a little bit of a looser knit to them, which everybody's going to have their preference on that, right? I used to say that I preferred like that stuff, like the older, the older Ultra Boost and things, but having run enough in modern things, it's not a thing that's super noticeable, so I don't really worry about it so much anymore. I still don't like the look of a lot of their newer things. I prefer this look, but I'll have to get back to you on if I actually prefer this as far as performance goes, because that's what really matters, honestly. But it seems like it'll be pretty nice, right? So we'll see. But overall, even if I don't care for it for the running piece, like it still just has a nice look to it. I really like these colors and stuff. They seem to work well together. All right, so I'm gonna slip this thing off, move on to the next and final shoe in this box. If I can get this box out of here. I don't know why they do this like that sometimes, where you just, because the box that it's shipped in is almost the same dimensions as the box that the shoes are in. It's a little weird sometimes, right? And there you go. There's that Kayano 31 Platinum, right? So this is the third Kayano 31 I've talked about. Actually, I probably shouldn't have sent those comparisons off just yet, but what's done is done. Because then I could have done a little comparison, but whatever, it's fine. Wow, these are pretty fancy. Is that one? Where's the other one? Whatever. I've done enough comparing the Kayano 31 to the 30. I have a video out about it, did a live about it, not really doing it again. Actually, one will be out again tomorrow, so there is that. This right here, gel-kayano 31 in the platinum colorway. I forget what, I didn't read the thing to see what the actual colors are, but I'm going to say navy blue and some kind of bronze type of thing. So there you go. That's what it's looking like, and everything looks to be fine, no blemishes. ASICS is generally pretty good with their quality control, so I didn't expect any problems. So let's go ahead and knock this thing out. As I said before, a lot of the knitted stuff going on here. Is that volume down? Okay. Actually, let me turn that down. Because like I said, there's a Mondo shop thing, and I'll need to see what figures they're going to have on sale next week. So this right here, again, a lot of knitted stuff going on in the upper. As far as changes from the 30 to the 31, a lot lighter, a lot more breathable up there. Got a pull tab thing on the back, and you have some extra grip on the bottom. Those are the three main physical differences, right? Everything else largely the same. 4D guidance system, pure gel, flight foam blast, there it is. All the same stuff, right? Nothing has changed there. So I will say this, having worn these on Monday, I ran like 20 something minutes, right? They feel really good, right? I'm sure they'll feel even better once I get them broken in. But just right now, just right out of the box, yeah, they were solid. Well, I wore them all day at work, and then I went to the gym afterwards. But you know what I'm saying? Like the break-in time, it wasn't like days and days, and I was cool with it. And these do have a slightly different tab up here. So ASICS gel-kayano platinum, then got the 31 down there. The other one I had was a Paris, and it said like sound mind, sound body. And then the standard one was very similar to this. I just can't remember exactly what it looked like, and I can't see them because I don't know where they are, so whatever. And somebody has said something, hi, I already got my wisdom teeth out. Okay, I don't know what you want me to do with that information. So there's that. Looks pretty cool. Got some sort of a, this time around, instead of like the normal, this is close enough. Sometimes they have the thing like that where it's just like some lines on there to make, this is a Nimbus 25. Sometimes they have the thing on there to just make the lines right for the logo. This time there's actually like a plastic piece on here. It's got this like goldish bronze sort of thing happening. It's a very cool look to me, right? So I do like that a lot. I mean, I guess technically it could affect the breathability or weight of this barely, but I don't think it'll be anything worth really harping on. So there is that. I do like that red on the inside though. I don't know why, but it's just a nice touch there, right? So you got that happening. Yeah, so there we go. I'm going to give you a real quick recap and whatnot. Oh, true to size for sure on these. I'm going to give you a real quick recap of the things we talked about here, and then I'm going to move on and watch this thing. Started right here with the Nimbus 9, right, in the Joker colorway. So I do like these a fair amount. We'll see how I feel about wearing them, but I'm sure they'll be like the Kayano 14 and be pretty nice, right? A little chunkier than modern things, but hey, it happens. Moved on to this right here, the gel-kinsei Max, as it says right there. Can you read that? Maybe you can. So pretty nice. I do like them, but I'm gonna have to do some reading about those before I talk to them. One thing about these, you can actually see the gel in there. It's kind of like it's almost like the Air Max 90 in a way, where you have like the sole, but then you can kind of see the gel too. But on those, it'd be air, obviously. And then, of course, this right here, a look that I am still not into, but the performance, I just can't complain about it there, right? So it is what it is. And overall, a nice upgrade all in all over the 31. Hey, they're showing, I forget, they used to call it Nightmare for like Scareglow's horse. But now I can't think, is it Scaremare now? I think it might be Scaremare. Either way. So you got that going on, right? Those are the three, not too bad, right? Yeah, so there you go. Okay, so from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Does that McFly KOF? Excuse me, 704. He tried to change his name so people wouldn't like put two and two together and realize that he's a bad guy, right? There's a heel in every group, and he's the guy over here on the internet side of things, right? In the shoe world. But seriously though, do check him out. He's got some channels over there. He's got the Hugh Has the Heat thing, has his own thing, right, where he does shoe reviews. Who Has the Heat is more of a sneaker battle channel, right? You know, a lot of questions like show me this. Two people show the thing, then only one man walks out. Long story short, right? But it's a good time. It usually happens on Saturdays and the occasional Sunday. So there's that. I'm going to move on, watch this thing, because I need to know what's going on here. I can see it, but I can't hear it, and that's kind of a problem with me. Thanks for showing up. I super appreciate it, but we'll have to cross paths at a later date if you stick around or whatever. If you don't, if this is your last time seeing me, I get it, right? You're not going to be missing anything. Later, people.